lot of him here.
Straight into it tonight for the IPRA New South Wales eSeries live from Winton Motor Raceway. I'm going to bring Jake Burton in for a really quick chat as we go live because we're about to go straight down to the grid. But Jake, you are the wild card tonight. Looking forward to this one?
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I haven't done TCR racing in a little while, so it's going to be a bit of a learning experience. But what better place than Winton, hey?
Awesome, mate. We'll have a chat during the break. Hopefully, I'll let you go down and get gridded up.
Yeah, all good, mate. Feel free to pull me up whenever. I'm just going to chill there.
Excellent. Thanks, Jake. Righto, let's get set to go through the grid as they line up very quick for us tonight. And off the front row, it looks like Mick Dumbrellas put it on pole position for race number 1. It is heat racing tonight, so opposed to what we did last time, it's going to be some quick little battles rather than the longer race tonight. So it's a HSR lockout at the front. Dumbrella, McCune, Sentence and Freeman off the second row with Reale, Stewart, Worrell and James down there in 8th place. Dunn and Cotter round out your top 10. Dave Vincent and Gordon your top 12. 13th on the grid tonight as we head into the TCR cars at Starling and Harris with Peacock down there in 15th place. Lamore in 16th, and you've got Anderson and Jake Burton starting down there in 18th place. Kirby and Robson at the back of the grid. There your 20 drivers getting set for a start. Like I said, we thought we had a bit of a later start tonight. It ended up being an earlier start, so it's a bit of a rush to get live, but we are ready on the grid for race number 1 tonight. So let's get set to get into the action and see what they can do. Remember, there's 2 classes of cars here tonight. The TCR cars at the back, the V8 supercars at the front, and the drivers from the Improved Production Racing Association New South Wales putting together this series. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk to a couple of drivers later as well, including Michael Hazelton's going to come in for a quick chat about his RX-7, which he races over in the IPRA series as well. Just waiting on the last couple of drivers to grid up, and then we'll get underway. So Winton Motor Raceway tonight, like I said, there's a fast run into this, but hopefully you're enjoying hanging out, jumping onto your computers or onto YouTube, on the telly, out in the lounge room, whatever you've got set up tonight for watching your mates out there and race. You can see the V8 supercars tonight with the blue stripe next to their names along the left hand side, and then of course the TCR cars, who's led by Gorton there in P12 with the grey stripe. So there will be quite a lap difference. We saw in the first round of this series that it took a bit of time for the drivers to get used to the closing speed and just dealing with the difference in pace between the 2 different cars. Winton Motor Raceway is probably a track a lot of them have raced at in the real world. So here we go. G'day Dave Baldock, he's tuning in over on YouTube. Sarah's in the house as well. Peter Morris, hello mate. And Keith Logan says, g'day legend, love that intro. How are you, buddy? Nice to have you here as well. We're just waiting now, about 10 seconds left for staging. I rushed through it, didn't I? But here we go, we get set for a race. There's 20 cars on the grid. Right down the back, Jake Burton, the wild card. We know his credentials. We'll go through that a little bit more later as well, because he's an absolute superstar of the sim racing world and the real racing world as he gets out there and does some things these days in the real race cars, which is fantastic to see. He's been racing, I think, all his life anyway, but he's definitely turned the sim racing career into a fantastic motor racing career. Let's get set to go racing though. We're beyond 3 minutes of staging, and surely it's time to go racing. The revs rise here from Winton. V8 supercars and TCR cars all thrown together for the IPRA New South Wales Improved Production Car Racing Association Series, and we're off and racing. Dumbrell gets away well at the front. Down the back, TCR cars are obviously not as quick off the line. But through turn 1, McCune looked a little bit wide. It was in fact Freeman that went off the track there. And then you've got Stewart, James, and who's gone to the back? Lamore's in the fence. We've got a couple of drivers. Brad Harris is the other one who's gone off at the start as well. A couple of the TCR cars getting together as the HSR cars disappear off into the distance. Sentence, and then Reali P4 for the first time through the boob section here at Winton. Bit off corner of that. Michael Stewart's tucked in tonight. Good to see Michael out there racing as well. He's behind Freeman. Then it's Reg James, Jason Dunn, Justin Cotter and Dave Worrell bringing up the rear of the supercars. Then at the moment it's Starling sitting in P1 for the TCR cars, 11th outright, and Jake Burton's already made up 5 spots to now be hot on the tail of Ryan Gordon, so he's not wasting any time cutting his way through the field. Jake Burton, let's get some timing up on the screen for you so you can see who's where and who's doing what. On the right hand side you see the battle boxes tonight, including the up and down arrows for drivers that are making gains versus losses tonight. You can see this man here, Dumbrell, started on the pole, holds the lead of the race. P2 McCune and Sentence, all 3 drivers have held position since the get-go. There's Reali up 1, Freeman dropped 1 position, and looks like Michael Stewart's looking for a bit of a run down the inside as well. He thought about it into the first chicane here at Winton, then he thought I would just jump back in position for now and not push for an overtake this early in this 25 lap race. So lap pace around here about a 1 minute 23 opening lap. We'll see that chop back a little bit once we get settled in. Jason Fields is in the house as well. Thanks Sarah for the stars too. I'm just trying to read. It says, hey guys, but stuck here. Let's go racing. So it's good to have some comments popping up already. I will bring you guys in throughout the night and make sure you're well included. If you're here to see someone in particular, is that Jason Dunn that's flashing in and out there? Make sure you let me know so I can give them as much airtime as possible. Starling at the moment, P11 and leading these TCR cars. Look how close Ryan Gordon is to the back of the Hyundai. We've got 3 Hyundais in a row before 3 Hondas, 14th, 15th and 16th. So the Hyundais look pretty good here at Winton. And the Honda of Joshua Peacock and for the Club Racing Engineering car, he sits in 14th place, up 1 position. Matt Anderson, also from the same team, up a couple of spots into 15th. And then Tim Robson sits in behind. He's up 4 spots now into 16th place at the demise of Harris, Lamore and Vincent, who didn't go anywhere. We've got David Kirby tonight, by the way, in the safety car if needed. Let's hope he's not needed at all. There's Ryan Gordon, who Sarah's here to see tonight, and he's doing pretty well at this stage. He's got a little bit of damage on the front left by the looks of things. Looks like he's made some contact. Damage just around the wheel arch there on the front left-hand side. As what's happened to Dave Worrell, he's off the track and bringing plenty of dust back on with him, so you can already see they're kicking up some dirt and bring it back onto the racetrack. That will affect the way the cars drive throughout the night, or throughout the race in particular. It does affect the track conditions like it would in the real world, so you get some dust and sand out on the track, get a little bit slippy through those corners. This is Dave Worrell chasing down Jason Dunn. The gap's about 7 seconds, so he's really dropped off the back of the V8 supercars. Dumbrell and McCune lead, and not much between these two, that's for sure. It's a great little fight brewing, and well, let's just get back to live there. There's a bit of a hiccup with the overlay. Let's go back and have a quick look at the back end of Dumbrell. We do have some driver cams tonight as well, which we're going to get a look at shortly, and we'll just see if we can focus in on how they're going and who's working the hardest out there in the sim. Let's just quickly jump across now and run you through the 3 drivers that we have in the driver cams tonight. Of course, Michael Dumbrell will be the first one. He's leading the race. There's a look back from his car, and there's Michael in the sim, enjoying his racing here on a Wednesday night. 2 nights in a row this week, because he'll go tomorrow night and do the V8 Fest as well. So he's got Scott McCune right behind him. McCune at the moment just on a second back in P2, and Scotty as well gives us full access to his driver cam, which is fantastic. There it is on the screen now. So looking forward from his car, as we get down low onto the dashboard, you can just see the gap just edging out over a second now. So Dumbrell's starting to show a little bit of pace here. McCune will want to try and stay tucked in within a second to get the advantage of the toe. Once you drop outside that 1 second to 1.5 seconds, it starts to get a little bit hard to keep up with the driver in front. Then our third and final driver cam tonight is the legend Bay 21 Coffee Reg James, currently 5th place, running in the Banter Alliance car there. In fact, he's we get him up there because his internet's not the most secure thing, with a couple of dropouts already tonight. There he is on the screen. You can see once again he disappears, reappears. I wonder if that's to do with him running the camera tonight. He's got Michael Stewart now pushing for an overtake right behind Stewart, having a big look to the inside. You can see some damage on the car. We're going to have to get off Reg James's car, unfortunately, because his connection is about as good as a 56k modem. Look at that, he keeps disappearing for Stewart, so this will put Stewart off a little bit, and it can get very tricky for the drivers if they're following. They don't really know where that car is, and sometimes when it disappears just like that and reappears in front of you. It is much better than the old days where the cars would leap and jump up in the air. I'm sure everyone that started racing in the sim world many minutes ago would remember just that. Top two flying along, doing a nice job. We're going to talk to Michael shortly as well. Michael Hazelton. We'll get him to come across and jump into the green room so we can have a chat when he's got some time. So if he's listening, which I know he is, he's got YouTube running in the background. Jump in the green room, mate, and obviously don't talk to Jake because Jake's in there as well. In fact, you just come and jump straight into the broadcast room. We'll have a quick chat. As the safety car's still in the pit lane. I thought we were having a call from race control there regarding that, but no, we don't. It's a 1 minute 21, 1 minute 20.1, eclipsed by a 1:19.6. Scott McCune just closing the gap down a bit. Brody Sentence sitting in third spot. And then let's go back to, that's the top three for the V8 supercars. Let's go back to Ryan Gorton now. And you can see he's currently, what is it? He's about 3/10 ahead of Jake Burton, who is definitely closing the margin down. Let's jump on board with Jake. And hey, Matty with the 200 stars. How you doing, mate? I'm here to enjoy some IPRA New South Wales improved production car. This is a great addition to what we do here at RACESTARS TV, to have this real World Series come on board, and the club getting behind a bit of sim racing just to match up with their, obviously their real life motor racing calendar. And it's good that the whole community can get behind this. They're already 38 seconds off the lead, these TCR cars. That is the difference in pace between the V8s and the 2-litre TCR. So it's a fair old difference in lap time. Gorton's best lap times are 1:25.3, so about 5-6 seconds it is the difference per lap as Freeman's gone off the track. Now what's happened there? Freeman's spun around. So's Reg James. I've got to think maybe Reg's dialing connection is having a little issue with some other drivers. So Freeman goes through in 7th. I know they'll be having a look at that. We're going to bring Michael in for a chat now. Michael, hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. How are we going there, mate?
Yes, mate. Been watching. Looks good already.
Excellent to have you here. Now, you race an RX-7, is that right, in the improved production series?
Yes. Yes. Got an old car that's run since the 99 series. We keep it going.
Very good, mate. Now, we'll try and, you've got a very low input in your mic there, but we'll try and fix that up during the night somehow. There's a couple of little things we can do. Obviously, we didn't get a chance to test, but it's good to talk to you. Let me quickly get a picture of your car up on the screen, mate, because it's a pretty cool car. And you also sent me some pictures of your historic go-kart as well. But tell us what you love most about this series, and obviously racing against similar competitors you're seeing on the screen now.
Proof production is one of the only classes that you can pick a car that you like and love and build it to suit the rules and still be competitive. Most classes you've got to pick the right car. So proof production, there's a lot more attachment from the owners to the cars, and you really see that with how people are, passionate about their own car. And even if it's an old girl like mine, still really do put the effort in to try and enjoy it as much as I can, that's for sure.
Very cool, mate. And obviously the historic go-kart, tell us a bit about that, because you've been doing that for a while as well.
Yeah, well, I started when I was a little kid in the 80s, and as I got older, karts changed, got more modern, and to me, more boring. So I really like the old stuff. They're wild, they're crazy, they're not more dangerous, but they're definitely more exhilarating, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're having a quick look at the kart now. Tell us a bit about that. What is it, a 100cc or less?
It's twin 100cc engines, both with around 25 horsepower each.
Yep. So
it's a wheel standing rocket ship. It's got front brakes to try and stop it. It's really light, and yeah, you definitely know you're alive when you're ripping around in that thing.
That's cool, mate. And tell us a bit about the RX-7. What sort of running gear have you got in that?
So it's pretty much the copy of every RX-7 is, Bridgeport 13B engine with a close ratio dog gearbox. Mine's one of the older PPG gear sets that's inside a Mazda box, so it really is an early 2000s spec car. Whereas these days, the faster RX-7s are upgraded to Hollingers, but it's still basically the same formula that we know works. It's got good corner speed. It doesn't do anything fantastic. It just does everything good. So it makes it quite a good race car.
Awesome, mate. We'll chat to you a little bit later on, hopefully in race 2. I'm going to quickly go back and just call a bit of this race because things are on the move, including Jake Burton has now got himself up into the top spot for the TCR cars. But when's the next race for you, Michael?
I'm actually racing in South Australia in a couple of weeks. So the New South Wales guys will be running in Wakefield Park, not this weekend, next weekend. And I'll be going up there to say g'day to all the crew. And then I head off on Wednesday down to Tailem Bend. And I'm going to go and run down there.
Awesome. Sounds good, mate. Well, we'll chat to you a bit later in the night, but thanks for coming in for a quick chat.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks,
work.
mate. Good on you. Right, we'll come back to Michael a little bit later on, and we'll just try and get his mic pumped up a little bit as well. We'll crank the cars back up here. Dumbrell still leads lap 9, starting lap 10 now. So this shorter format tonight, 10 lap into the 25 lap event. We've got a 1 hour cap on that, but of course it's only going to be about a 35-minute race each time tonight. And Dumbrell already onto the back now of Lamo, who gets out of the way nicely. In fact, that's one of the TCR cars. He's now lapped. He gives him a little bit of a thank as well over on the race control channel. Let's head over and see if we can't have a quick chat here to Jake while he's driving as well. So Jake at the moment out there on the racetrack, and we don't want to interrupt him if he's a bit busy behind the wheel, but you've already got yourself up into the top position now. Jake's looking pretty good, mate.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. I should have read the rules. I'm trying to work out whether I need to take tyres in the pits or not.
Do you need me to go and try and find out for you?
That'd be brilliant, mate. If you could spot for me temporarily, that'd be awesome.
Mate, you're looking good out there. You got yourself, a 4-second lead now over your closest in-class competitor. What's it like not being able to jump in the supercar, and you feeling a little bit slow out there?
I don't like the on throttle causing the understeer. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm used to the opposite. But it's honestly a pretty good track for these cars. I think it suits them, being the tight and twisty stuff through the cleavage and whatnot. It's good fun.
Yeah, it's looking good out there, mate. What I'll do is I'll just mute for a second, and I'll go over and try and find out the rules for you. So what do you want to know? You want to know if you got to take tyres in the stop, is that right?
Yeah, that's it. I saw Ryan's actually probably the guy I'm racing, and he took his stop a couple of laps ago, and I want to know whether I need to take tyres.
Very good. All right, I'll get back to you.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate. All right, so that was Jake. We're going to go find out for him a bit of a strategy if he needs to take some tyres. I think Ben Anthony's probably listening. If Ben's listening, he might even message me. I'm going to quickly go and just send him a message. Do they need tyres in the pit stop? That's what I'm going to write in a message now. If he's listening, he's probably going to go, Luke, go and read the bloody rule book yourself, will you? I haven't got time for that. I'm pressing a million buttons here and trying to keep up with the action as we watch Michael Dumbrell and Scott McCune. But I know Ben Anthony, he's usually all over it. He's a man of many, many talents here. And you can see him typing, nope. So there you go. He said nope. Excellent. I'll go and tell Jake Burton that. So we'll go back now to Jake, and we'll give him the good news that no, you don't need to take tyres, is what I've been told, Jake.
Right, alright, cool. That makes life simpler for me. Thanks for that.
That's alright. We'll let you concentrate. If I hear anything different from Ben Anthony, who I asked, I'll relay it back to you.
I appreciate that, mate. Thanks.
Good on, Jake. Alright, let's concentrate back on the action here. So a couple of pit stops being taken. They do need fuel, of course. We've seen Worrell in the pits for the supercars, and then Jake just said that this is probably the man he's fighting against, Ryan Gordon, who's now back in 14th place. And so the gap between himself and Jake, around 37 seconds. Now the time in the pit lane, it was a 38.5 second transit with a 10.3 second stationary stop to put fuel in. So I think Jake's probably looking pretty good where he is, and his times at the moment are 1:24.9 last time around. Gordon did a 1:26.7, so he's about 2 seconds a lap quicker at this stage. Ben Anthony is watching, so big shout out to Ben, and thanks for always, mate. It's amazing that I can just send you a message anytime and rely on getting a correct answer instantly as we watch. Oh, another car back into the pits. It's one of those racetracks. It's I can't remember which F1 track. It might be China, the Chinese F1 track, where you see the cars fly across into the pit lane. They go sort of straight ahead, and it always gives you a little bit of a shock, like someone's having a massive crash, but no, they're just in the pits. So Dumbrell's in, Sentence's in as well. Scott McCune stays out. He now leads the race. Let's jump on board with him for a lap around this circuit and just get a little bit of a feel and a look for what it's like. So this is the onboard with Scott McCune. Enjoy. We'll jump into visor cam and we'll just ride through the cleavage or the boob section of this Winton Raceway circuit. So it's a tight, tricky circuit, especially for the V8 supercar. It's a lot of off throttle, just nursing the tyres through that twisty area. Then you get these big long straightaways now down towards the final corner. Double right-hander to bring you back onto the pit straight. McCune looking pretty good. I'd say he'll probably go into the pits here. And I think during the V8 Vets round, it was him, well, one of the cars that stuck straight in the wall right there. This time he's got the pit entry right, and he will head in for his one and only pit stop in this race. So good job. Let's see where Dumbrell is, because Dumbrell is the car he's racing for the lead. Dumbrell just getting a little bit of traffic here. He goes around Peacock. He gets out of the way nicely, and he'll turn himself now. Oh, he's got a car that's wide. That's one of the lap cars there. That's Cotto, 15th place. May just hold him up slightly through the final couple of corners, which it will for Dumbrell, so this may hurt him. And I'm just trying to see where McCune is right now. Is he up on the jack? Still he is. He'll drop down now. He gets underway, and where's Dumbrell? He's gone through. So Dumbrell goes through into the lead of the race, and it's about a 1.6 second advantage with a heap of cars in between as well. So you can see one car off the track there. That was Cotter, who completely shortcut across the first chicane, and that was Dumbrell, I think, on cold tyres, also leaving a big trail of smoke. So he got the job done, in and out of the pits on lap 14, and he's got himself a 2.8 second buffer over his closest competitor. Back to Jake Burton, who's in the pits now, leading the 2-litre class tonight. And Brett Starling is P2, Brad Harris P3. So they're all into the lane now as well for their first and only stop in this race. You can see the Porsche safety car, Dave Kirby, standing by if needed. No tyres being taken there from Jake Burton. You can see the car stays on the ground. That's a good thing, because it's going to make a quicker stop for him. He'll get out. Where's Gorton? Because this is the man he said he was racing against. Gorton's just coming down through the last couple of corners now, so he should still clear him as he exits the pit lane now. Jake Burton just gets back out onto the racetrack, and the gap between them will update shortly for you. It's around, I think, 3 or 4 seconds. Maybe a little bit more. In fact, it's around 6 seconds as Gorton goes around the outside there of the supercar of Reg James and puts him back to 13th place. Back in the order, Josh Pocock's having a battle here as well with Justin Cotto. We know Justin's had a few little off-track moments. Good to see one of the TCR cars here battling up against the V8 supercar. Won't get near him in a straight line, but through the twisty corners, it's definitely giving him a run for his money tonight. Back out in front, it's an HSR12. Brody Sentence for the Sim Racing Grid sits in P3 at the moment. There he is, the gap back to 3rd place from the lead, around 6.3 seconds. If you're part of the improved production car series in New South Wales, please share this across to some of the friends and family. They probably don't, a lot of them probably don't know this is happening, and it's a great initiative from the series to put this on, have a broadcast and give the drivers something to do in the virtual world. I hear a lot of them they've got quite a full calendar of real life racing as well. But something you can just do from the comfort of your home on a Wednesday night. It is pretty cool, isn't it? As we go 15 laps in now down the straightaway. Reg James still disappearing there, and this will really put McCune off, now this is blue flags waving for the car in front, and Scott McCune won't be enjoying that. In fact, he gives him a little bit of a nudge as well, and he says, "Hey Reg, what are you doing, mate? Out of here." And McCune, the bump and run, and he probably deserved that, Reg. I know he'll watch this later and say, "Oh mate, no I didn't," but you've got to get those. When you get the blue flags, you've got to try and get out of the way, because what that's done is put now about a 1.7 second between Dumbrell and McCune. That was around half a second prior to that little moment. Like I said, it's good to see Michael Stewart back as well for HSR. He's out there behind Riali, another HSR competitor. We've got 4 HSR cars, top 5 drivers here. What's happened to Lamoille? He's off the track. Well, we'll pick him up down in the runoff area there. Back into the circuit, you can see the skid pan there, which was the old cricket oval, I'm told, here at Winton. So back in 16th place for the Audi of Matthew Miller at the moment. And that's where he started, so he's held position. In the background you can see David Vincent just getting out of the way there for Freeman, that's just gone through to put a lap on him. And then it's Starling at the back there, 18th place in the Hyundai, and then the Honda of Tim Robson rounds out your 19 drivers out on the racetrack tonight. Love the little Hondas. They're a cool looking little race car, aren't they? Something very fast and furious about them as well. As Dumbrell comes through now, watch the speed advantage that he'll have over this TCR car, who gets out of the way nicely, doesn't muck around when they see the leaders coming up behind. And in fact, was that Jake Burton? It was. So Jake, very good at running by the rules, of course, and you wouldn't be used to being lapped, that's for sure. But as our wild card, which they're having a wild card for each event, and they have the challenge of starting at the back of the grid and then fighting their way through, which is very, very cool. Now let's have a quick chat about Jake, because he's run you through some of his credentials as we watch him here. He's 2013. He was with Powerbond Racing Team, Custom Image Motorsport, Dayco Motorsport, Next Level Racing in 2016, before going to Trans-Tasman Racing, and present Positive Sim Racing, and now present with Brad Jones Racing in 2019 till now. He's done many things. His real life experience continues to also just grow and grow. Here's a great picture of him racing at Mount Panorama in the Toyota 86 series. And of course, we'll get a few other shots up on the screen as well. But it's great having him in tonight, and they're going to do this for each round. We had great success in the first round with Madison jumping out there and having a run, and you can see here's a couple more pictures. I'll just try and get a shot of, there he is, in the car there with the helmet on. So it's great to have Jake tonight as our wildcard racing. He also does some coaching as well, so if you need to get better at your sim racing, he's has worked through the VRS, so Virtual Racing School, and he's been involved in the Supercars eSeries as well. So it's fantastic. Of course, he races in Scops and other events, and Porsche Pro series as well, and the GTE Pro qualifying series. So Jake's right up there. He does a lot of things, and it's great to have him with us tonight. Lap 19 of 25 as we see McCune go across the line. Dumbrell trailing and getting closer. So Scott McCune's got into the lead here. Let's quickly just find out where that happened, because while I was reading some information, they've had a little bit of a switcheroo here. Let's see if we can't just go and find the overtake. McCune going past Dumbrell. Here it is. So it was a mistake. Dumbrell off the racetrack. McCune didn't need a second invitation to go through. He says, "Thank you very much, teammate." And that's how the lead changes happen. So Scotty McCune now leads from Dumbrell. And their lap time, he lost about 2.5 seconds with that little moment. But best lap time is in the favour of McCune with a 119.17 versus a 119.22. So 5 thousandths of a second in there, isn't it? So 500ths of a second covers their best lap times outright. Dave Orrell still running around in 8th place as well. The top 9 all in the supercars. Reg James rounds out your 9, and then you've got Jake Burton inside the top 10, almost getting the dive bomb there from this man behind, and this is the lap competitor we've got. Ryan Gordon is a fair way back, isn't he? 7.1 seconds, sadly. So the driver behind is actually in 18th place in this lap. But we're looking now at Gordon. He's just about to come onto the pit straight, and 7.2 seconds behind the leader of class, Jake Burton. So 5 and a bit laps to go. Justin Cotter's just gone off the racetrack, and he comes back on. He's in 13th place. Bit of damage on the right-hand side front of that car. That will not be feeling good in a straight line. Mr. Cotter, Cotter Racing Team. Let's go back to the battle at the front. Battle of the HSR competitors here. You can see the lap times. It was 1:10, 1.5 tenths in the favour of Dumbrell on the previous lap. So Michael Dumbrell, he wants to win this one, this first race tonight. They opted to go for this sprint race format instead of the longer endurance style race that they had in the first round of the series. I think it's going to work well for them, and it's quite spread out. We haven't got a lot of battles to go and focus on. This one at the front is probably the closest battle we've got. Then you've got the Cotter Pocock battle, or Peacock, sorry. 2 different makes of cars, 2 different categories pasted together here, and there's 7 tenths between them, and at the moment Cotter just closing in on Peacock, but I think Peacock a little bit more consistent in the TCR car, and Cotter keeps making the odd error which pushes him back down the order. Obviously stuck amongst the 2-litre cars tonight. Back at the front, this is the HSR cars wagging the tail there, Scott McCune. So he's not afraid to use a bit of throttle when need be. Michael Dumbrell still within half a second. He's nice and relaxed in the car. You can just see the way, one hand on the wheel. Now he's got 2, just as I say that, but he's holding on. He's got the anti-roll bars, the different levers there. Obviously the gear shift, I think he's using that tonight. I thought it might have been on the paddle shifts, but he's shifting through the gears, down the gears there, a couple of gears down into the left-hander, sweeps through. And it's always good to have that inside of these guys racing, and I reckon Dumbrell is about to line him up for one. He's going to maybe take advantage of these cars in front. McCune was a little bit deep into the second to last corner, now through the double right-hander onto the pit straight. Gap still around half a second. So McCune covered that well in the end. Thought he was going to lose out. He recovered, and into the pits, Lamore has come in for another stop. Some trouble back there. So, lap 22. This battle for the lead continues on. Reg James has just gone off at the final corner, and Jake Burton is looking to move himself inside the top 9. If he can get past Reg James, another supercar behind him, that would be a great start for his wildcard entry tonight. So if you're over on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so you can comment on the Tiapan Events page, which hosts all our broadcasts now whilst we're on our 90-day hiatus from YouTube. So big thanks to Tiapan Events, and of course on Facebook. If you haven't already given us a like and a follow, please do so for RACESTARS TV. We've got plenty coming up again this week. Actually tomorrow night I should announce that we're not doing the V8 vets tomorrow night. We'll be doing a double header on Friday night just due to my work commitments at the moment. So Friday night, 6:30 p.m, bit of an early start, but we'll be doing the split 1 and then the split 2 race straight after each other. So it'll be one broadcast to do both races, which should be a lot of fun with all the drivers tuning in and watching along. It should be great. So 6:30 p.m. kickoff on Friday night, tomorrow night. You can put your feet up and just enjoy the racing, guys. You won't be live streamed, you'll be telecast on delay Friday night. And then, of course, Sunday we come back with another round of the Australian Sports Car Championship. For next week, it's a big one. We've got Roads to Rumble, F3A, and the Wednesday night, the Pro Invitational from Logitech G. That's going to be a huge night with all the best of the best V8 supercar drivers. That will be broadcast over on their YouTube page, their Facebook page. But I'll be doing production on that with some great commentators. Sam Mann will be there, and a fantastic crew for what should be a huge production for a brand new series. So looking forward to that next Wednesday night. Put that in your books. About to start the penultimate lap of the race. As we see McCune and Dumbrell still fighting it out. It's Jake Burton leading the 2-litre class. 9.3 seconds now over Ryan Gorton. He's been able to just sneak away off into the distance. Then you've got Josh Peacock back in 3rd in class, and Matt Anderson in your top 4. Not too far behind Peacock for a podium in the 2-litre class tonight. Just got to try and find about 4 seconds in a couple of laps. So then Brad Harris and Brett Starling rounds out your 15 outright, but 5th and 6th place in class. There goes Starling now across the line. And Reg James, I think, off the track again, so it's not enjoying himself out there. The Banter Alliance Bay 21 entry going for another little bit of a slip and slide. All right, let's jump on board with Dumbrell. He's got to try and find a way to get past his teammate here. It'll be white flag, 1 to go at the end of this lap. At this stage, McCune looks like he's got him covered off. The gap's back out to around 7/10. So you can just see how much lock they've got to put in to get around these tight sections of the racetrack. He's got the Coca-Cola, is it, tonight beside him? So powered by Coke tonight by the looks of things. And here we go. So 1 lap to go shortly, and the battle is on between the HSR competitors. McCune leads, Dumbrell 2nd, and Brodie Sentence, who rounds out your top 3. He's currently back 7.9 seconds off the lead, so he's not going to bother the top 2. Unless, of course, they get together. White flag drops, 1 to go. The gap, 0.6 of a second. It's on between these two now. What sort of risks will Michael Dumbrell take on this final lap? Is it worth maybe a dive sooner than later? Or is it just about being consistent on the final lap and then trying to get himself tucked up behind through the last couple of corners onto the pit straight? Hey, Jamie, nice to have you there, mate. Hope you're doing well. Come in for a quick chat as we're almost at the end of this first race of the IPRA New South Wales Improved Production Car Series eSeries, and we're just watching a couple of guys you'd be well attuned to racing battle it out on the final lap of this first race. And McCune and Dumbrell's noticeably closer now, 0.4 of a second through the slow section. He needs a really good exit out of here. No wheel spin would be really handy right now. And the run down towards what will be the 3rd last corner, left-hander, he needs a great exit once again to try and get as close as he can for maybe one last shot. And I don't think he's going to get it done, because McCune did a really good job to get off the corner well. Now he's just got the double right-hander to go. And Scotty McCune, he'll take out the win by the looks of things in race 1 tonight. Scott McCune to cross the line to take the checker flag. There it is. And he does it in style. He wins it by about 0.4 of a second in the end. Not much of a celebration. I was expecting maybe a fist in the air for Scott McCune, but that was a good race. Took advantage of Michael Dumbrell's mistake, and he comes home a 1-2 for the team. Sentence gets himself P3. Michael Stewart, welcome back tonight, Michael. He gets himself 4th place, up 2 positions in that race in the Ford Mustang. So good job in the background. You can see Reale and Freeman. Reale goes through for 5th place. Michael Freeman gets 6th. Then we wait for Jason Dunn, the old mates and son entry. He's going to come around and take a well-deserved 7th, up 2 spots from where he started. Almost looks like he's out of fuel there. They're coming very pedestrian off the final corner. Crossing the line now, and then Orell, who's just ahead of one of the TCR cars there. That's Harris, who's out of position 14th. But it looks like everyone else has been classified. So Jake Burton's been classified as the winner of the TCR on Invitational tonight. And Jake enjoying himself out there. Of course, we'll have a quick chat, hopefully. I'm just going to see if we go straight into the next race, or if we've got a little bit of a breakdown now. So hopefully chat to a couple of drivers and the winners of race number 1. We'll find out, but we'll get you the results as soon as they're made available from iRacing. We'll get them up on the screen, and we'll have a bit of a chat about that first one tonight. Scott McCune, too quick, too strong. A 1-2 HSR Hypersonic Racing tonight. So we've got 5 minutes. Let's go and have a chat to some drivers before we go into the second and final race of the night. Here are the results up on the screen from race number 1. We're going to head across. We might even chat to we'll chat to Jake there. He's probably keen for a quick drink, but mate, winning your class there, very good job tonight.
Yeah, cheers, mate. I'm not too sure what happened to Ryan. I should have been about even with him. I think I was a couple tenths faster, but he dropped a bit of time between when he pitted and I pitted. It kind of killed what would have been a good race, I think. So hopefully this next one's a bit more interesting. Yeah,
there's a couple of seconds a lap difference in the lap times for the latter half of the race. So whether or not he just took a lot of fuel or he lost interest, who knows?
He's got to have had damage or something. He was pretty quick in that first half of the race. Like, I was just staying with him. So I think if he gets that sorted for the next race, he'll be on the pace, I think.
Awesome, mate. Well, good luck in the second race tonight. We'll definitely have a good chat at the end.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Cheers. Jake Burton there having a quick chat whilst he hangs and then gets ready for race number 2 in about 4 minutes' time. I don't think anyone else is coming in for a chat. We're just seeing if McCune or Dumbrell are going to come in. So far they haven't. So we'll just go quickly through the results there, and we'll go through the classes. So the V8 class, of course, this is how they finished up. 11 of them out there, and it was Scott McCune, Dumbrell and Sentence, your top 3. Brody doing a good job there, holding out Michael Stewart, Riali, Freeman, Dunn, Worrell, James Cotter and Vincent. Then we go to the 2-litre class, which is the TCR cars, and they finished up this way. It was Jake Burton with a dominant performance through the pack, from the back, to win by nearly 10 seconds over Ryan Gorton and Joshua Peacock, your top 3. Matt Anderson got 4th tonight with Brad Harris, Brett Starling in 6th place, Lamore, Robson and Kirby, your top 9. Alright, whilst we're under the warm-up conditions, we might have another quick chat here to Michael Hazelton. And I know Michael's watching on and listening. How are you, Michael?
Doing very well, thank you.
You enjoy that one, mate?
Great, wasn't it? Oh my god.
Yeah, it's good.
Can't believe how well tuned in those front-running cars are and drivers, with some pretty damn impressive rigs they've got as well.
Oh, that's it. They make us all very jealous every time we see those setups. What about you, mate, with your sim racing?
So I don't have a sim myself, but I have a friend that does a little bit of Assetto Corsa.
Yep.
So it's just a basic setup, you know, but it's still like load cell style pedals, so you still get a lot of feel. And I like the setup side of it and driving different cars. I don't do any of the competitive sim racing because of time usually. Yep. He does a little bit, but I love the fact that you don't have to tow the sim to the track and work on it all day long. Like it is quite enjoyable, that's for sure.
And it doesn't cost you a fortune when you bang it into the fence.
That's for sure. That's the other thing that's quite interesting is looking at the different driving styles. The guys who I know in that race who race in real life, they don't look like they do when they're on the track driving. They look like the guys who are winning, you know, in the sim. So it's interesting to see that difference in, you know, between sim and actual real life performances and the differences the cars look from the outside.
Yeah, that's right. And it's fun. I mean, they got to work hard. That's the thing. If you got a really good sim setup, and it's, you know, you're watching both Dumbrell there and Scotty McCune, they're bouncing around, and, you know, they're getting buffeted around in these motion rigs. It must add a lot of, you know, the realism to it to actually feel like you're getting beat up a little bit in the race car.
Yeah, I reckon it would as well, because, you know, it does wear you out. Even if you are on a sim, you're still concentrating very hard. But I just really appreciate their skills and the feel they've got. Like, I find quite a disconnect when I sim race because I'm used to feeling the inertia of the car.
Yeah, seat of the pants. Yep.
Exactly. Like, you feel inertia, but there's no inertia in a sim racing. So but it looks like they're driving, feeling the inertia. Those front guys, that looks really good.
Yeah, I think that disconnect. Every time I talk to real world race car drivers, that's the first thing they always struggle with. They can't feel basically the slip of the car as well, because in a real race car, as you know, if you get a bit of wheel spin, you feel that in the seat of your pants. Whereas in the sim, it's almost like it tells you through the steering wheel and it takes a little bit longer for your brain to connect and say, oh, I know what's going on, the back end's sliding.
That's right. I find when I drive on the sim, it's more of a learned skill rather than a talent or a felt skill, if you know what I mean. Like it's, you have to learn what your new reactions are to what's happening out there. The other thing is in sim, they have to use everything that's available to them at all times. If you do that in a real car, you wear stuff out, tires get too hot.
Yep.
You know, even though sim has tire models, wear models, and heat models, it's nothing like the real world. And you can just see those front guys. They look like it's SVG out there. You know, it looks fantastic. They're using everything available, and very impressive.
Very good, righto, mate. We've got to go down to the grid. Thanks for having a chat. We may chat to you later on.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you. Right, let's go to the grid now for race number 2. This is how they will line up. Scott McCune will get pole position in the HSR car alongside Michael Dumbrell. Then it'll be Sentence and Stewart. So progressive grid. Reali will start from 5th with Freeman, Dunn, Morrell, Burton down there in 9th place ahead of Reg James. Then it's Gorton behind and Peacock to round out your top at 12. 13th on the grid will be Anderson with Harris alongside. Then Starling and Cotter down in 16th place. Vincent, Lamore and then Robson. Your 19 drivers on the grid for this race number 2. Should be a shorter run in from race number 2. Generally it's just a 1 minute staging time, so we're just waiting for Jake Burton to load in and then we'll get underway. In fact, he may be starting from the pit lane just to give it the old back of the grid sensation. So here we go, revs rise for race number 2, 25 laps to go in this second round of the IPRA New South Wales Group Production Car Series. Good jump off the line there, and pretty even in fact behind. Sentence got a good getaway, the top 5 well ahead of the rest of the crew. Here we go through turn 1 and turn 2, and it is Scott McCune just ahead by half a car length, but Sentence having a really good run to the outside now as he gets a chance to challenge for P2. Did McCune go wide there? Dumbrell, in fact, is leading the race, and where's Scott McCune gone? He went way off the circuit, and he's got some trouble. He's dropping down outside the top 10. It's going to be a long, slow rejoin here now, and he does join in 12th place. So Dumbrell leads from Sentence, who really clips the curb hard there. Then it's Stewart, Reali, Freeman, Worrell, Dunn, James, Gorton's ahead of Harris and Starling, and he did start from the back. Jake Burton, and he's now fighting his way through the field. Let's jump on board with him, see how quickly he can dispatch of Justin Cotter in front, because he wants to get alongside Matt Anderson as quickly as possible, and also Peacock. He doesn't want those guys to get away, and his main fight tonight will be with Ryan Gordon, so he can already see the gap to Gordon, 6.1 seconds. He doesn't want that to creep out to probably over 10 seconds. That will get hard to fix up, and wow, look at the speed out of there, up at the back of Anderson. Almost into the back of Anderson. He was so quick out of the exit compared to Matty, and now he should look down the inside and he should make the pass stick. No, he backed out of it. So Matt slams the door shut. Dumbrell crosses the line with a 1:25 standing start time, and Brody Sentence P2 as we watch Matt Anderson under attack here from Jake Burton. Will Jake try and get him through the dog leg? First chicane, left-hander we go through now, up on the curb. They can ride a fair bit of the curb through there to try and get a nice smooth run. Good racing up the front. Let's pick up Dumbrell. Gap out to 0.6 of a second now from Sentence and Stewart. Remember, Dumbrell made that mistake in race 1. He won't do that again, no doubt. He'll work out what he did wrong and why he ran wide and across that first chicane, because it ended up costing him the win. Reali and Freeman in tow, and then you look back further to Jason Dunn in the Old Mate and Sons, a Rams home loan. Pagnian in trim tonight. He's in 6th place, up 1 position already at the cost of Scott McCune back in 9th place. Scott already, what is he, 8.8 seconds off the lead, can you believe? So he's got a big race ahead of him now. Whether or not he tries something different, like comes into the pits and just goes for his stop early on, which may be an option considering he's going to have to pass so many cars. Maybe stopping now and then coming out of the pits in open air and running long on that second stint of tyres would be maybe a better option for him. What do you think out there, folks? Please give us some of your input. McHugh now on to the back of Reg James will be overtaken down the inside. Scott McHugh moves himself up in into 8th place now. Next up the road is Dave Worrell and Jason Dunn. So he's already caught the back of Worrell in a very, very quick time. Dave is putting a stack of work into getting this series up and running. There he is. And I'll tell you what, it's fantastic that they have got behind this, the New South Wales Improved Production Racing Association, to put on a fantastic eSeries for the drivers, which will run for the majority of this year. So we'll be able to see this sort of racing about once a month now, till I think it's till November. So that's fantastic. They've put that on for their drivers. Brody Sentence is doing a good job at the front of the field too, keeping Michael Dumbrell honest, and Michael Stewart in P3. Didn't he love a podium tonight? But he's already 2.4 seconds back. Make that 2.5 back from the lead, and Reg James is off the track again. So Reg not having fun out there as Dave Worrell now has a very fast Scott McCune about to, I think, put a move on him on the outside. There he is, McCune just in the on the edge of the screen. Now he tucks back in behind, and Worrell's holding his own here. He's got the elbows right out. Now down the inside he goes, and he chops him off once again. So nice job there, Dave Worrell. I'm impressed. He's got the elbows sharpened, the elbows out, and he's making this Holden Commodore as wide as he can. So Scotty McCune going through. Let's jump on board with Scott and just watch how he tries to find a way. Look at him, relax, one hand on the wheel. Oh, he runs wide, and that may cost a 25. Worrell, they go alongside now. Worrell backs out of it. He goes to the outside. Scott McCune, and he should be able to get that done, and he does. Well done. Good racing. He kept the pressure on. Dave made a slight mistake, and Scott pounced on it. Finds himself now up into 7th place. The gap, though, 11.7 to the lead. So not ideal. He's got to try and get that back as quick as he can. Your race leader coming across to start lap 5 now. The gap almost a second back to Brody. Is in on board with Brody now. You can see he just was about half a tenth quicker on the previous lap than Dumbrell. So that's what you want to see. If you can just start edging away, trying to get closer to the slipstream, and if he keeps the gap under a second like he is right now, this will serve him well towards the first pit stop phase as well. David Vincent is crashed and up against the fence. This could be a safety car. Or can he get it running? He can get it going, which is good. So safety car avoided. Dave Kirby at the moment has been able to keep it parked in the pits. And David Vincent gets back out onto the racetrack. Let's pick up Ryan Gordon at the moment, leading the TCR class, the 2-litre category of this great event. Brad Harris just in behind. The gap between them, 0.8 of a second. There's Harris. And then you've got Justin Cotter in the supercar, and Brett Starling, 3rd in class at the moment, 13th place outright. And I think Justin Cotter may have just gone off the track, and he did. He's back on. Starling in behind, trying to find a way through. It must be frustrating for these 2-litre cars when you can get close, but then they absolutely blast you off on the main straightaways. And Jake Burton, we might have a quick chat with Jake in a second as well, so head over there now, grab Jake in, and here's the onboard shot with Jake as he now starts to look at the back of Brett Starling. He's the next competitor you've got to try and wipe out here. Jake, what's the plan?
Well, I tried having a go into 10 last lap and caught the grass on the way in and undid a lot of hard work, but I reckon it's really tough to get a run in this car, because when you try and pick the throttle up early, it just sort of wheel trams out wide, and then you got to get back out of it again. So I think the key is to get it done under brakes, not try and get clever with runs and that sort of thing.
You're about 2 seconds a lap quicker than him outright pace, so... Oh, dearie me, did I put you off?
That's once again that understeer that I get on power. Making silly mistakes, but yeah, I'll see. I reckon 10's going to be my best shot, because I got a good run off the cleavage the last few laps. Seem a bit stronger than Brett there, but we'll see how we go. I'll see if I can have a go this lap.
We'll stay with you if it's not too distracting, because it's good to watch. It's you carry a lot of corner speed. I guess that's the key in this car.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it's not a bad car, but it doesn't have the power of the supercars and that sort of thing, so it's a momentum-based thing. So if I can get out of here right in first, I might have half a shot.
We'll watch your pro at action here. And how's your real life racing going, man?
I think the bio that we had for me is a little bit out of date.
Okay, yep.
I obviously raced Toyota 86s with Aussie Driver Search for quite a long time, and obviously they went under, so I'm sort of trying to find a way back to racing. So I'm in the middle of building an XL, but I haven't actually raced full time for a couple of years.
That'd be awesome to see you back in the seat, man. We'll let you go because I think you're about to. We're going to watch this battle, but I'm going to let you concentrate this time.
Thanks, mate.
Good luck. All right, here we go. So we'll let Jake get back to it. I feel bad that I was distracting him there when he was right up underneath the wing of Brett, but he's lining him up, and it's interesting to hear his thoughts about where this car will be strongest to make counts on Brett Starling, who we're looking at the back of now. He seems to be very quick through this section, Jake, but finding a way through on two cars that are very evenly matched. They're both Hondas. They'll both be running exactly the same setup tonight. Look at this, he closes right up again. And, oh, he's got an overlap, so he'll try and go around the outside. This can get a little bit risky as well because there'll be marbles out there, and then that'll become the inside. So, job done, Jake Burton. Perfect overtake, well set up and executed. And it was just a matter of time, so good overtake. I think who's off the track again? It's Justin Cotter. He's been doing some lawn mowing tonight, and he's just got to recover that, get back on the track. Jake Burton will probably go through on Cotter here, and Cotter does just stay out of the way. So Burton up into 12th now. Starling goes up into 13th. Brody Sentence leads the race, by the way. Let's go back to the front for a little while and just have a look at what's going on here for the sim racing grid driver. So he leads by over a second. We'll go back and have a quick look at the overtake. And I want to see if that was maybe a mistake again from Michael Dumbrell. I'm saying for a second that Brody didn't just pass him with pure skill, but I would like to see where the overtake took place. So give me a second, I'll go do some investigating here and see if we can find it. Brody now leads by 0.8 of a second, and it looks like Dumbrell. Have a look at these lap times crossing the line now. It's 120.0 versus 120.1, so times very comparable between the two. Let's have a quick look. So it's lap 6. This is the overtake. So Dumbrell, I reckon, is going to make another mistake. So very similar to what he did in the first race, a different part of the racetrack, of course. Just ran a little bit wide on the exit, and that helped Brody slip through and take over the lead of the race. Michael Stewart still maintaining 3rd spot as well, 2.9 seconds back. Jacob Neasley, nice to have you in the chat, man. Says clean racing, sent it Jake. He did a good job, and he ended up setting it up very nicely and took back that lead. Well, took back 12th place. He's still got 2 drivers in front of him. This man, Ryan Gorton, who he said in the post-race interview, Jake, that he thought there must have been an issue, maybe some damage with Ryan because of the pace difference at the end of the race. And I'll tell you the outright lap pace right now, a 1:24.6 for Gorton, and Burton's done a 1:24.8, so actually 0.2 in the favour of Ryan Gorton. This is looking good for him to take out a class win in this second race tonight, but Jake has taken a fuel stop, hasn't he? So he stopped. In fact, no, he hasn't, because he started from the pit lane, so it's indicating 1 stop, but that was a pit lane start. So we'll just keep an eye on the first fuel stops, because that will be important for Ryan. It seemed that after the fuel stop was when he went a bit backwards in race 1. So can he turn that around for race 2 tonight? The 10 laps in, Brody Sentence still leads 0.8 of a second. Jump on board with Michael Stewart. Enjoy a half a lap or so with the volume cranked up, and the dashboard showing the speed around this Winton circuit. Stewart at the moment at 20.4. He's about 4/10 off the pace of the top two, and that gap has come right down again now as Dumbrell reattaches to the back of Brodie Sentence. This could be a really good fight as we start to get towards the halfway point. And Dumbrell, once again, maybe a pit stop will be in order. Jacob says also a shout out to the V8 Vets guys. Good luck to them tonight. There's a lot of them out there, especially the HSR drivers. Oh, Freeman's in the wall, and the engine just blew up as well. And he's escaped to the pits, so they're not meant to do that, but anyway, he's done it, so he's gone straight back to the pit lane, and that would have probably been a safety car. That was a big crash. Let's have a look at how that unfolded, because that made a huge sound just as we crossed over. He was going into the lane, and I reckon, dear me, that looks like a bit of frustration maybe. Or did he spin first? No, he spun first, so here it is. So we'll slow it down. He just touches the dirt, that loops the car around, and then you're going to see this, I think a bit of frustration, nice little Summonat style donut, and then he heads for the pit lane after doing another little bit of a odd movement, and then I think you're going to see this. That's a bit of frustration there for the TCB Racing driver, and maybe a post-race penalty because they don't tend to do that sort of thing lightly, so the rulebook will state, no doubt, that may equate to a rage quit. Sentence leads though, Dumbrell still close behind. Sad to see Freeman out, and Vincent's also out of the race on lap 4. Matt Anderson's still out there, but he's a few laps down now. The 2 litre class, by the way, Gordon still leading that with a good gap, 5 seconds over Harris. Harris now has got Burton attached right to the back of him, so this could be the battle for P2 now. Jake Burton trying to find a way through. Will he find a similar way of doing it like he did a minute or two ago? On Anderson, we'll wait and see. On Starling, sorry, it was around turn 10, he said was the best opportunity. You can see the way that cars lurch around, the back end lifts up, becomes very light. Front wheel drive race cars, so they get a lot of understeer as you jump on the throttle as well. Crossing the line to start lap 12, the gap between them, absolutely nothing, 1/10 of a second. He's quick through here. This is where we were on board before with Jake when he almost hit the fence. He carries a lot of speed, gets an overlap now as well, and good job. He should be able to make this smooth down the inside, and he does. Oh, there's contact, big contact, and Burton in the fence. So that wasn't fantastic from Harris, and we might have to have a look at that one as well. Did Harris not leave him enough space? He just tagged the back of him as they went through the turn. Burton went flying off the racetrack. Here's the replay. Slow it down, and Burton's well down the inside. He's on his way to the apex, and yeah, Harris has turned in and gave him quite a tag. Of course, from then on, Burton was a bit of a passenger out towards the fence, sadly. And he hit it hard too. That will have done some damage to the car. He quickly got back on the throttle and straight back into it. But definitely not ideal for Jake Burton's chances of getting a battle here with Gordon. In fact, you think Brad Harris might have to give that position back or wear a bit of a penalty. It's about the length of the back straight. 7 seconds, in fact, is the margin that he's pulled out on Burton since the incident. So Riali leads now. And these guys have all stopped except for Mario, who's leading the race. So pit stops are done by Sentence, Dumbrell, Stewart, McCune, James, Dunn, Gordon, Morell and Harris. The difference in pit stop time, not a lot. It was all the 15.6 seconds as Riali now makes his way into the pits. And Dumbrell should retake the lead of the race as he just goes past Anderson. P2 for Dumbrell will soon become P1, depending on how long Riali's in the pits for. He's just going into his box now. He'll be stationary for around 15 seconds. So there he is, up on the jacks. That's Burton going through for his stop too, and obviously getting a fast repair, which will get that car fixed back to full working order. And has he got one late challenge for Ryan Gordon tonight? He moves up into 8th outright now, Gordon. A really good second race. Michael Dumbrell back in the lead, and the gap to Senton's 2.7 seconds. Stewart 3.7 behind, and then you got Riali McCune, who's fought his way back now to 5th place after I think being as low as 11th place at one stage. So that's a good recovery drive by him. He chases Mario. He's got 2 of his teammates in front, then Brody, and then another of his teammates leading the race. So it's a HSR party once again here for round 2 of the Improved Production Racing Association IPRA New South Wales eSeries. Car off the racetrack there. That's one of the TCR cars. It's going for some Leyland Brothers bush bashing down the grass here at Winton. It's Peacock, I think. It was Josh Peacock? No, it wasn't Josh Peacock, it was Starling. So he's dropped back now to 14th place in the Hyundai. So we've got 2 Hondas in front of him now with Anderson and Peacock. 12th and 13th place outright in the race. Here comes the HSR car, so look out, they go either side of him. How's that for a bit of action? And the leaders go either side of the little 2-litre car, and he would have heard the roar of 2 V8 motors at full revs going beside. We'll have to have another look at that. That was fantastic. So that was McCune and Riali that split the difference there. Here's a look down the bottom of the screen on the replay. Riali now back in 5th place. McCune up into the top 4. I'll tell you what, to get on the podium from where he's been tonight, that would be a great recovery. Watch the replay down the bottom. There's the little Honda. They buzz the tower. 2 V8 supercars either side of you. Great to watch. So Michael Stewart's next up the road for McCune, and the gap's 4.8 seconds. He wants to get himself on the podium tonight. There's Ryan Gorton. Gorton Team Racing. 8.4 seconds to Harris, so pretty comfortable. Lap 16 at 25 should be pretty comfortable to bring it home from here. And then Jake Burton, who's tucked in behind, sadly 46 seconds back. That's how much damage was done from that contact. It's the new fastest lap for McCune at 19.5. He's turned the wick up, so he's got 3rd in his sights now, and he's turned the pace right up to a 119.51. That's an incredible lap time. Burton at the moment, a 126.28. It's his best lap time with Gorton. Sorry, that's his current lap time with a 125.3, the last lap for Gorton. Their best lap times in the 24s, mid-24s, and Gorton still with a 2/10 advantage outright speed over Jake Burton in this final race tonight. There's your race leader, Dumbrell. Let's jump back onto an onboard shot with Michael as he leads now by 4.1 seconds. Looks pretty comfortable stage, and let's jump onto the onboard and enjoy a full lap. I'm going to shut up for this one. We're just going to ride a full lap here with Michael Dumbrell on board in the HSR Holden Commodore. Here we go. So lap on board there with Mick Dumbrell. Nice job. Keeps looking over at his fuel numbers there just to make sure he's good to get it home. Gordon will come out of the pits just behind the race leader, so he's down a lap now. And what's the difference to Jake Bird? I'm just trying to see. It's about the length of the pit straight. So Brad Harris actually now leads the race. He needs to stop though. And Jake will probably be thinking, right, it's, what is it, 17 seconds the difference between Gordon and Bird. And that distance is probably the amount of time he lost whilst recovering from the hip and shoulder off the racetrack. So a bit sad in the end. We're going to be robbed probably of what would have been a great final battle between Ryan and Jake. But who knows? Maybe post-race there'll be a little penalty coming the way of Brad Harris, who holds on to 8th right now. Like I said, yet to stop. He'll probably need to come in at the end of this lap as Jason Dunn. Here we go. So Brad Harris in the pits. This will put him probably back to 3rd. Just having a look at the distance now. 16 seconds back. 19 in fact back to Ryan, and 36 seconds back to Jake. So it's going to be very close. I think Jake will jump him. Jake just coming through the back end of the circuit now. Reg James, well, he's got Jason Dunn behind him. He's just about to, oh dear, I see he's about to monster a 2-litre car, and then he spun it. So James made a bit of a meal of that one, sadly, and he's gone around. And he's currently the last driver on the lead lap, Reg James. Where is Michael Dumbrell? He's coming through turn 1, so he should be safe to at least keep his lap towards the end of this race. We've only got 6.5 laps to go. Big thanks again tonight to Maddie, Sarah, Keith from the Stars. Great to have you watching and being lifestyle supporters throughout the night tonight. Maddie last night as well. Just a consistent. Christopher Mitchell last night, Keith Logan and everyone else. It was a star central last night. Thank you guys. As we head towards the final part of this second and final race for the IPRA New South Wales Improved Production Car Racing Association eSeries. And let's look back at Josh Peacock at the moment. He's got a 1.5 second gap to Starling in front. Starling had a few incidents earlier in the race. And will these two engage? At the moment we don't have anyone within a second. It's quite a spread out crowd tonight. The interval shows the story now on the left hand side. In fact, the closest gap we've got is the gap between McCune and Stewart, which is now 1.3 seconds. This will be one we'll just watch now towards the end of this race, because I reckon Michael Stewart, with about a lap or 2 to go, is going to be under immense pressure from Scott McCune. You can see the gap now, 1.3. The lap times, McCune took a second out of him on lap 15. He took 4/10 on lap 16. Lap 17 went into the favour of Stewart, and then lap 18, 2.3 seconds. He monstered him on that lap, and then lap 20, lap 19, I apologise, was half a second again. So he's definitely got race pace in that car, Scott McCune, and he's going to land on the doorstep of Michael Stewart very, very soon. The Balin Stewart Foundation, let's mention that because I just saw the new tag there, profile picture from Michael, and I'm not sure if the website is live yet. I'm just going to quickly go and do a little Google search, because I was told it was going to be a couple of weeks until it was live, so I'm just going to quickly see if it's up there now. And no, it's not there yet, so maybe it is. Have a quick look. Yeah, it is. So let's quickly post that up in the chat for everyone to go and check out. And obviously we keep Balin in our thoughts every time we do a race. Basically, it doesn't even matter if it's the drivers that are associated with the VA vets or the drivers associated with IPRA. Whenever we see Michael Stewart, whenever we think about the tragedy of young kids carrying knives, we think about the legacy the Balin Stewart Foundation now has. And I'm going to quickly post up in the chat a comment, and hopefully you guys can then share it with your friends as well and make it a talking point, because it's definitely something that needs to be a talking point. So the it's balinstewartfoundation.org.au. So if you can go and check that out, please take some time to read the information on there and get right behind it. Dumbrell, lap 21 of 25, leading. Cotter's off the track again. I keep seeing this flash up with the red line, means he's grass mowing. and he's just having a bit of fun out there tonight. It's not so easy jumping in one of these V8 supercars. And he's up 2 spots, so 14th, so he's got to hold his head up for that. That's a great run. Whenever you make gains, it doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're having fun and you're moving forward. And he's done just that tonight. Remember Brody's sentence, he's P2. He led the race for quite a few laps tonight. His outright pace is only 4 tenths. In fact, it's only 4 100ths off what Michael Dumbrell's done. So a 19.55, his best lap versus a 19.51 for Dumbrell. So the sim racing grid driver, number 66 in the Mustang, has driven a really consistent second race tonight for some good points in the series, and the points will add up throughout this series, that's for sure, and they want to try and keep the tally growing as we head through the rest of this year. And like I said, it will conclude, from memory, it's November. It's going to go on about once a month now, so the first 2 races quite close together. The next race won't be now till June the 1st, or that may even just move by a week, because there is a clash with another event now on that date, as now McCune gets right onto the back of Stewart. Then July 6th we have another race, and then we go August 17th, so in fact there's one in late July as well, but then August 17th, September 21st, so some quite big gaps there. But it will go right through till the end of the year, with the final race being held in November on November 9th. So definitely a good series to get behind and follow as the action unfolds. Let's jump on board with Michael Stewart looking back underneath the car. It's Scott McCune. He's getting closer and closer, wagging the tail as he gets onto the pit straight. McCune, of course, driving Holden Commodore with the driver cam attached. Let's just jump on board with him now. Opposite lock as he gets through the chicane. Where is he going to attack, and where is he going to overtake Michael Stewart tonight? He's close enough, but he's running out of laps. Lap 23 of 25 now. Back into the car, still wobbling around. This is where he seems pretty good. Gets the nose really in tight there. Makes that one big double apex corner, then into the braking zone for the double right now, and just weaves his way around. Then you go around the tree to the left. Tyres will be screaming help by now. 23 laps into this race at Winton. Now back through the right-hander. Fight continues. In fact, he lost a bit of distance there to Michael, didn't he, on that lap? So Michael's holding his own. He would love a podium, P3, and he's on for it at the moment. Reale still holds 5th, Dunn behind him in 6th, then Reg James 7th. Ryan Gordon leads the TCR class with only a couple of laps to go. He leads it by 14 seconds over Harris, who's about to have Jake Burton re-engage for one final battle, I'd say, on the final lap of the race. And that white flag will drop shortly, so Burton will be thinking, right, I could have won this class tonight if it wasn't for that little moment when they got together. All in all, though, 16 seconds behind Gordon, who's still holding the fastest lap time for the 2-litre class. It would have been hard to catch. Gordon crosses the line. He'll get 1 to go because he is down a lap here, so Dumbrell will get the white flag at the end of this lap. Drivers in the 2-litre class will do 1 less lap than everyone else, so they'll do 24 laps in the race, as Dumbrell needs to just work his way through Worrell and Cotter. Now the 2 drivers ahead of him. So they'll be getting the blue flags, and he'll be obviously as well ready to jump on the mic if they don't get out of the way. But they're in their own little race too. Cotter 14th, Worrell 15th. So Dumbrell will have to be a little bit careful here. He understands that they're racing, and look down the inside, Worrell with a big dive. He's tried for the move. Now Dumbrell needs to be careful he doesn't get tangled, and Dave Worrell did a great job there to get out of the way as the white flag drops 1 lap to go. And McCune does get through as well on Stewart. Moves himself up into a podium spot. So Dumbrell leads. Like I said, that battle in behind with Dave Worrell and Justin Cotter, that was a great one to watch from the perspective of your race leader. He came into the final couple of corners just as they were engaging, and Dave Worrell made the move stick, and then he had also the insight to then see Mick Dumbrell coming through at a great rate of knots and get out of the way. So fantastic job Half a lap to go. The HSR car, Hypersonic Racing driver Dumbrell, is going to take out this win. 3.7 seconds the lead to Sentence, who's had a fantastic race but just couldn't keep it consistent enough tonight over the space. 25 laps to take a win. He's definitely got the pace in the car, like I said, only 4/100ths off Michael Dumbrell's outright pace, so that's great. But with a couple of corners to go, put your hands together for this man. It's been a mega drive. He probably threw away race 1 by going off the track. He didn't do it in race 2 though. He's been very, very level-headed. He's done a 1:19.51 fastest lap of the race, and he's going to take a win. Race 2 goes to Michael Dumbrell. Great job. He crosses the line, weaves his way down for a win. And Sentence will get P2. Crosses the line. Scott McCune will get 3rd tonight as he comes out of the final quarter with Stewart hot on his tail. In fact, is he out of fuel? Stewart's going for a run to the line. They're going to go side by side across the line. And Scott McCune just hangs out by the smallest of margins. Stewart gets 4th. Reale gets 5th. Dumbrell celebrates. Sentence celebrates as well. Stewart off the racetrack. Jason Dunn gets 6th. Reg James gets 7th. Well, they will. They're just coming around to finish the lap now. And already classified, you're going to see Ryan Gorton take out the TCR class ahead of Jake Burton. Jake Burton right on the back of Brad Harris, who I think may get a post-race penalty. We'll see what the stewards say about that little moment earlier in the race, which cost Jake a lot of time. They cross the line, so it will be Gorton, Harris and Burton for the 2-litre class tonight. That's how that finished up in the end. And Jake from the back of the grid goes through P10 outright. Nice job. There's your race winner. Let's celebrate with him. Michael Dumbrell tonight, too strong. He takes the win in round number 2 of the IPRA New South Wales Improved Production Racing Association Series, live from Winton Raceway. So race results up on the screen now. As you can see, Michael Dumbrell awarded the win tonight. Brody Sentence got P2, 4 seconds was the gap. Scott McCune P3, and then it was Michael Stewart, Reale, Dunn, and Reg James, your top 7 in the supercars. And Ryan Gorton tonight got a win in the 2-litre class, 7th, in fact 8th outright, ahead of Brad Harris and Jake Burton, your top 3 in that class. Matt Anderson got 4th in class, with Starling and Peacock running out the top 5 for the 2-litre class. Worrell, Cotter, Freeman, Vincent and Dave Kirby wasn't needed tonight in the Porsche safety car. We had a night free of big incidents, so the safety car could stay at home for one. We'll have a talk to the drivers shortly. Let's head across now, and you got 3rd tonight in class for the final race, but Jake's still with us in the broadcast booth, mate. Tough race. You got that hip and shoulder. That's not you'll be off your wish list for Christmas.
I think it was one of those that I think he thought he cleared me and was trying to go for the over-under. When you got two corners, one after the other like that, it's pretty common. And I think he just might have misjudged whether I'd cleared him. And I think, yeah, innocent mistake, but had a ball nonetheless. Thanks you guys for having me along. It's been a fun time.
Yeah, great coming in as an invitational, mate, and obviously running from the back, setting yourself a big challenge. You definitely can hold your head high. You did great, so thank you for the entertainment.
Yeah, cheers, mate. I think, Ryan definitely had the pace in that second race. I think even if I didn't have that coming together, I don't think I would have caught him. So, yeah, cheers and congrats to Ryan.
Awesome. Thanks, Jake. Anyone you want to thank, mate? You got some sponsors on board there?
Yeah, just the team at Vendaval and VRS, and of course you guys really enjoyed being a part of that, so appreciate it.
Awesome, mate. Thanks. We'll talk to you soon, Jake.
Thanks. See ya.
Cheers. All right, Jake Burton there. We're going to quickly head across now and grab the other drivers in. So we'll start off with Michael Dumbrell with the win tonight in the feature race. That was some good racing out there, man. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, that was great fun. I gave it away in the first race and then almost gave it away again in the second. It was a shame for Brody, though. I'm not sure I would have had enough to actually get past him, but I could just run with him. That was about it. So, yeah, it was a bit of a shame. I think it was a TCR he was trying to get past and just went a bit wide or something. But yeah, no, I'm absolutely wrapped that I managed to keep it together for once and get the first.
Yeah, good job, man. And tough circuit in the supercar as well, isn't it? There's a lot of patience required.
Yeah, which I don't really normally have. So yeah, yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, but yeah, very tough track. Very tough.
Excellent. And Brody, mate, good racing tonight. You were right up there, and tricky circuit as well for you in the Ford Mustang tonight. But how was it from your perspective coming home second there to Michael?
Yeah, it was good. You know, he made that mistake and ran that bit wide and just got in front of him, and unfortunately after the stop on cold tyres, just got a little impatient with the TCR car in front of me, and just bowled it wide, locked up front, pinched inside front in one of the real low speed ones. So it was a pretty painful off. It felt like it went forever, but yeah, it's just a bit of impatience, that's all.
And Scott, P3, mate, in the V8 supercar class, setting yourself a challenge tonight by bowling a wide and going back to, I think it was P11, but you worked your way back to a top 3. Well done.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shocker of a start, wasn't it, Luke? The first race was great.
Yep.
Good battle with Michael and Brody. And second race, yeah, just threw it away. And then, mate, once you wear these tyres out, it is hard to get back, and you can't pass here. It is so hard.
And super close at the end there with Michael. You had to battle. He was really good in defence, Michael, and he put up a good fight. You finally got past him with, I think, a lap to go.
Yeah, he did. We were chatting on the radio too and giving each other a bit of curry, and yeah, he just pushed it a bit wide in that last corner, and it was like, okay, see you later.
Good racing. All right, let's do the thank yous to the top 3 in the V8 class, then we'll go across and chat to our 2-litre guys. So starting off with you, Michael, who'd you like to thank, man?
Well, obviously all the HSR boys for coming and racing tonight, yourself, Luke, for the broadcast, and obviously Dave for organising it. It's been a good series so far, really having a lot of fun. And I know there's a bunch of sponsors on the car, but I actually haven't memorised them all. So I promise those guys I'll make it up for them next week or next round and give them a big shout out. But yeah, and obviously Jake as well for coming in and having a run with us. So and Brody and Scott obviously as well. So.
Very good. And then P2, Brody, who would you like to thank, man?
Just massive shout out to SRG and massive shout out to Track School. And also just obviously you guys putting it all together, making such an awesome, fun series, and all the guys racing with. It's good fun.
Excellent. Then finally for the top 3 outright tonight, Scott, who would you like to thank?
Yeah, just basically the IPRA New South Wales for putting on the series, and Dave for running it, and yourself for broadcasting it, and obviously just the HSR boys, and you know, and obviously Jake giving up his time to come in and have a bash with us, and thank Christ he wasn't in a supercar. That's all I can say.
That's it. No, he did well back there. But we'll go across to our 2-litre competitors now with Ryan. Congratulations, mate. You got 8th outright. You won the class there in the feature race. I was a bit sad not to see you having a door-to-door ding-dong with Jake, but it wasn't to be. What happened first of all in race 1? You were just a little bit off the pace post-pit stop by the looks of things.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Race 1, I got a bit of aero damage early on, and I thought, I'm not sure how this is going to go with fuel, so did the early stop, and then, yeah, just didn't have the pace to keep up and had a lot of traffic, but managed to turn it around race 2, had a nice clean run, and just basically had no traffic and got to put down quali laps as many as I could, and thankfully Brad did a good job of holding off Jake for me.
Yeah, and in fact, in the end, you had your 2/10 of a second outright pace over Jake there. So obviously some clear air there. But man, I would have loved to see you guys door to door, like I say.
Yeah, absolutely, it would have been good. Yeah, sort of the second race sort of tried to calm down a bit, dial that brake bias back and get the thing turning. But yeah, no, I was really happy with that.
We'll get him back again and try and get another one happening. But well done, Ryan. Who would you like to thank, mate, for the win tonight in class?
Just a big thank you to the IPRA crew for putting on this eSeries, and the RACESTARS boys for hosting it. Yeah, it was good fun, and Josh Love Racing for the livery. Hopefully can get out there in the real IPRA class soon.
Car looks great, man. And then final words from Jake tonight, who's still with us. Good fun, man. Obviously being invited to race in the series. Will we see you back sometime, and what else is on your program, because I'm sure you've got a lot coming up?
Yeah, man. So for me, it's just finishing off my Excel so I can go real life racing again. That's the dream for all of us. But yeah, just I think for me, I got a few supercars things coming up as well as the eSeries later in the year. So I'll probably be a bit in and out. But yeah, I had a ball tonight, so definitely would love to come back.
Awesome. Right, well, thanks, Ryan, and thanks, Jake, and also a big thanks to Brad, who hasn't made it to the podium, but he did get second in class there, pending any investigations for that little bit of a contact that may come after the race. Thanks, boys. We'll see you next time.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Righto, that's it from our drivers tonight, and like I say, that's pretty much it from me as well. Thanks for tuning in, everyone that has come across and enjoyed some racing again on RACESTARS TV. It was Michael Dumbrell, too strong in the end, took out the win. Thanks for everyone that commented, everyone that threw some stars in as well. It's been a pleasure, and tomorrow night we have the night off, so for those that were expecting V8 bets tomorrow night, it'll be a double header on Friday. They're going to race tomorrow night, but we're going to do a double replay, so 6:30 PM kicking off with Split 1, straight into Split 2, and then Split 3 will be broadcast over on Wodonga Cars and Parts in their lounge straight after that as well. So it's a big night of sim racing, so get yourself some popcorn, some lollies, some soft drink and some beer, and you'll be ready for a night of entertainment. So till next time, I'm Luke, this is RACESTARS TV. I'll catch you soon. Good night.